Well, thanks for joining us.
So thank you.
Well, thank you.
Our son Mac took his life at 17, partly because he was sexually extorted online. We are the first country in the world to have gone down this track, and now 20 have followed.
Now 6 months old, Australia's social media ban is getting fresh scrutiny.
When I was growing up in the 70s in Victoria, we were one of the very first states to introduce compulsory seatbelts. They weren't retractable, they were loose-fitting. Now they're retractable and in front and back seats. This legislation will be the same. It will be a moving feast. It will get better and better.
Since December, some of the world's biggest social media companies, with platforms like TikTok, Facebook and YouTube, have been legally required to take reasonable steps to block access for under 16-year-olds.
Early research shows 30% of kids are playing more sport, 27% of kids are getting better sleep, online bullying is down, and children are receiving access to less inappropriate content online.
That's the good news. More concerning, according to a study of young people by the University of Newcastle in the months following the ban, is that there's still a long way to go. Some 86% of under 16s reported accessing at least one social media platform. Up to 19% said they're using a fake account, while a majority of young people were still using their own accounts.
From our findings, I think we can see that the reasonable steps need to be more rigorous in order for adolescents to be prevented from accessing those platforms.
Just today I heard of a 13-year-old who opened a new social media account and wasn't even asked her age. It is simply not good enough. It is big tech using classic big tech tactics, doing the bare minimum and thinking that they are above domestic law.
The government today introduced legislation that would double the fines on big tech companies to as much as $99 million and grant the e-Safety Commissioner new powers to force tech giants to produce documents rather than just relying on data provided by those companies.
These companies want these laws to fail. We are also up against a very determined campaign by big tech to throw as much doubt across this as possible to dissuade other countries.
The legislation was clearly undercooked in the first place. The e-Safety Commissioner wasn't given the powers to be able to pursue these big tech companies. So, of course, the social media ban wasn't working. Let's face it, it was announced in a rush with a flurry.
The government's decision to toughen its world-leading laws reflects growing confidence that it's on the right track. The original legislation was passed last year at a time when critics were warning Australia might be going too far and could trigger an exodus of tech companies. There was also concern the Trump administration would retaliate for a regulatory hit on America's tech darlings. Not only have those risks failed to eventuate, but Australia is now at the vanguard of a global movement.
What was most surprising for us was just the sheer proportion of adolescents that were still reporting use of those restricted platforms, and that the majority of those were really doing it through their own account, so they weren't having to really employ complex mechanisms or methods to circumvent or go around those restrictions.
Courtney Barnes is a research fellow at the University of Newcastle. She says young people have had little trouble skirting the ban.
Some adolescents did report more, rigorous methods such as having to upload a digital ID or using facial recognition software. So those platforms obviously do have that capability, but that wasn't highly reported from the adolescents within our cohort.
The government's social media push, which has near universal political support, stands in contrast to its reluctance to meet crossbench demands for more stringent gambling ad bans. Annika Wells indicated that planned changes to be introduced into Parliament this week will be minor.
The reality is that this is a milksop and the government has folded. It's listened more to the gambling industry, to sports broadcasters and to the sponsors than it has to what Australians want.
For now, the government is staring down the crossbench, betting that it has regained political momentum after nearly 2 months of hard-fought debate over the budget. 2 polls on Monday showed Labor is once again the nation's most popular party, ahead of One Nation. For the Liberal Party, its decline has only worsened under Angus Taylor's watch.
On his watch, the Liberal Party is circling the drain.
Support for the party is now as low as 17%, approaching the kind of levels the Greens command, which has inevitably produced yet another round of anguished self-reflection.
I think it's time for the Liberal Party to rebrand itself. Some people think that we're stuck in the past and our policies need to resonate with the Australia of today.
And leadership chatter.
I think that Angus Taylor has prosecuted against this terrible Labor budget exceptionally well. He really has led the charge in that debate, even if others potentially have got some of the credit.
And should he get all the way to the next election to make
absolutely.
that case?
Meanwhile, after months of ever-rising poll support, One Nation has slipped from its recent peak, offering the Liberals the slightest whiff of hope.
I don't have a bone to pick with One Nation voters. I want them in our column.
Pauline Hanson drawing the ire of Australian movie great Paul Hogan after holding him up as an exemplar of Australian monoculture.
Bring back Paul Hogan and Norman Gunston. These are the essential features of Australian monoculture, and there's nothing remotely exclusionary about them.
Paul Hogan was right. Pauline Hanson is a pelican, except that might be a bit offensive to Mr Percival.
Does that mean he's got to keep the lawns?
She mentioned Norman Gunston and Paul Hogan. Well, that's throwback to the 80s. We're going to watch reruns of Neighbours with Toadfish and Harold Bishop.